Welcome back to the continuing adventures of the monad. In our continuing journey into the connecting bridge between the three aspects of the mind, we start with the lower concrete mind. There is one ray that expresses itself more completely in this mind, and that is the fifth ray. This ray represents the lower phase of the will aspect of the Trinity. What does the concrete mind do? It summarizes within its envelope all the knowledge that is known to the monad. That is also the memory of the persona, every aspect it has experienced or thought. The elemental essences that inhabit the lower concrete envelope are temporary in nature. It is the permanent molecule 47-4 that stores the subconscious memories for the monad. The mental envelope dwells on the first triad, but is part of a larger structure that has its other component on the second triad. The link between this lower envelope and the higher causal envelope is found in the knowledge petal of the causal lotus. This diva control structure is capable of pronounced soul illumination. It eventually becomes the searchlight of the soul. This is not surprising, as it is through knowledge one comes to know one's environment. How do you direct this searchlight in your life? Through concentration. It should be noted, however, that this concentration is transient in time and space. Why? Because it is held in an envelope that is dissolved at the end of an incarnation. If one is prepared to make a concentrated effort to focus one's consciousness on creative work, links are slowly made to the 47-1 permanent atom in the causal envelope. This is the seat of the abstract mind. The second aspect of the mind is known as the son of mind. Sounds like a weird term, but this goes back to a presentation made many moons ago, when the Gnostic terminology of the Father, Son, and Mother was linked to a triad. The Son was the designation given to the second, the consciousness triad. If we are talking about the son of mind, it exists on the second triad, and is therefore the soul of the monad we are talking about. It is the monad focused in the 47-1 permanent atom. It is governed by the second aspect of all the seven rays. Think of this mind as being the lower manifestation of the love found in the fifth kingdom of nature, exemplified by concepts of love through unity with all life. We are still talking about the mind here and not some abstract notion of hearts and flowers. So love is equated to all the knowledge the monad has gathered to date, and this results in illuminated wisdom through the process of intuition. You could think of it as love, in brackets unity, acquiring experience and knowledge. This second aspect of the mind resides in the love petal of the causal lotus. This petal is linked to the first path an aspirant can choose, presented in our previous table. It is through dedication and devotion to service that the divine plan is brought into activity in the three worlds of the first triad. As has already been mentioned, this aspect of the mind is related to the second triad and is brought into functioning activity through meditation. When functioning properly, it uses the lower illuminated mind, now infused with love, to control the persona. Unlike the lower mind, it is eternal in time and space. Remember again, the lower mind disintegrates at the end of each incarnation, and only its memories are stored in the permanent molecule 47-4. The third aspect of the mind is known as the abstract mind. This aspect is revealed most clearly under the influence of the first ray of will or power. This is just a reflection of a higher will that is found on the third triad, known in theosophical circles as the Atmic principle. Grand terms are used to describe Atmic will, such as saying that it is the will of the deity, That is stretching the envelope, but it is for this reason that Lee Bladden calls plane 44 divine. If you understand Atmic will, then you begin to understand the purposes of the divine plan. If you know that, you are part of the processes that brings that plan to fruition. All this goodness is stored up in the will petal of the causal lotus. Lars poetically describes the unfoldment of the will petal as the eternal life of the soul, being neither transient nor eternal, but boundless, endless, and unknown. If you know what that means, please inform me. Note the term transient. Even the soul is not eternal. What I do know about this petal is that to make its function consciously, you have to build the Antahkarana. You see, it all eventually comes back to this one very important structure. Once in place, you have an illuminated persona focused in the mental envelope, motivated by the love petal, located in the causal envelope, but driven by the energies of the fifth kingdom. The lower two petals, knowledge and love, link to the will petal, which focus its attention towards the third triad. The monad at this level is referred to as the one life. Esoterics uses flowery language like God is love. This is just the activity of the monad focused on the second triad, especially in the 46th world. Another phrase used is God of consuming fire. This, as you have now surmised, is referring to the consciousness will expressed from the perspective of the third triad. Sparks certainly seem to be flying. What is the net result of all these pyrotechnics? This fire from the will petal is energized by love from the unity petal. Its job is to expunge the personality of all its qualities, leaving a purified instrument colored by the soul ray. This is one of the 7 rays that the monad vibrates to at the causal level of consciousness. The net result of this is that you do not need the soul body. It fuses with the persona, which is the lower causal body anyway. What you now have is a single mental envelope undivided by its existence on 2 triads. This vessel is now ready to serve the purposes of the one life. Esoterics symbolically describes the unifying goal of evolution is to unite the 3 triad structures. It starts by joining together the lower and the higher aspects of humanity as found in the structure and function of the causal lotus. If you get with the plan and work towards this goal, which is the development of the 3 aspects of the mind, then you will have completed the task set by the plan within the lifetime of this globe. As an aside, we are halfway through this globe. We have been evolving on it for about 350 million years. As we work towards this objective, we bring closer the goal of humanity, the hierarchy and Shambhala, all making their presence felt on the physical plane. This is not going to happen all at once, and you do not have to pencil in to leave next Wednesday free. But it is purported in the blue books that the hierarchy is drawing nearer and will actively engage with us again. It is also alluded that Sanat Kumara will appear at the end of this globe cycle. That is definitely further away than next Christmas. What is the takeaway message from this presentation? The aspirant has to make a stand and endeavor to focus their attention on the mental plane, rather than getting lost in illusions and fantasies. Untangle karma and manas, our emotions and thoughts. If the focus of awareness can be maintained, then meaningful work can be done towards constructing the Antahkarana. Through the work of invocation, a conscious rapport can be built between the first and second triads, linking the soul and its persona. This conscious effort to build the Antahkarana is the final stage of the path of probation towards taking the I3. This is why time was taken to explain the three aspects of the mind and how they express themselves on the mental plane. Towards the end of the human monad's path through the fourth kingdom of nature, when it is integrated, aspiring, orientated, and devoted, it is ready to integrate its mental body, understanding all 7 levels of consciousness that exist there. This is the start of a process that eventually leads to the monad choosing one of 7 paths open to it. In the next presentation, we will look at the 7 states of consciousness just mentioned in greater detail. Thank you.